Okay, we are live, folks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Call our meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item is consent agenda. The recommended action: approve the following items which are included in the consent agenda: 6A minutes and 8B special education. May I have a motion, please?
I will make that motion.
Second. Any discussion? If not, please vote. Seven yes. We have a presentation this evening with Mrs. Trainer and the Interact Club and her student Johnny Lynn Coro.
So is not here.
Okay.
This is Sophie Spamberg.
Sophie Spamberg is here this evening, so we welcome the both of you. I'm sure at this point you've already signed in, so we welcome you and look forward to your presentation.
Okay, so you see, we're with Interact the high school program, and we put together some things that we just wanted to talk to you guys about, or just show you what we've been doing this year so far and what we're looking forward to for the rest of the year. So far for our current members, 6 freshmen, 5 sophomores, 13 juniors, and 13 seniors. So we've definitely built this program up a lot. We have a lot of seniors and juniors, and from my experience in this club for all 4 years since my freshman year, we tend to build more as the year goes on, and as people get further into their high school career, we see more and people join throughout their time in the high school. I think to start off, we have a lot of scared freshmen, but when they see the impact that we have and they hear about events like the teddy bear picnic, that's a big one for us, that's fun and exciting. We have more people that join throughout the whole time. We have our president, Fiona Sullivan, and Donna Perez. We have a lot of doubles this year. Vice President, Ireland Cassidy and Rowan Mather. Treasurer Brooke Meyer, and I am lucky enough to be the secretary for the club.
Graduating seniors, as long as they participate in at least one activity that we offer, receive a stole to wear at graduation. And most of the seniors have already completed that for this year. It went to the next slide.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Activities so far, we have done locker day, dam duck race, teddy bear picnic, pumpkin decorating, and we have done our first blood drive. We also done the s'mores packing for the Rose Club, and we're looking forward to our next blood drive with the Red Cross, I believe. For me, my favorite's always been locker day. It was something that I looked forward to a lot going into school, setting up my locker, and especially as a senior, I got to set it up and I got to guide a lot of people, a lot of kids I met through Camp Placid over the summer. So it was really great for me to be able to see all the kids be very scared and very nervous and then be very excited running around, finding their classrooms and their teachers. And we're lucky enough to have a tight-knit community where a lot of the kids already knew the high school seniors that were in the building. Teddy bear picnic. This was my first Interact event when I was a freshman. It brings in support for small businesses, staff members, local scoops, Miss LeClaire's small business. And then we also had the 80 karaoke join with us. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it.
Yes, and that's Ms. Tresca, who is a TA at the elementary school for small business. So it was nice to include other staff members and let them interact with the students in the district in a different setting. And I know after talking to Ms. Tresca, she was very excited to see the students outside of their regular day and then have them come up to her and be very excited to talk to her about seeing them over the weekend.
And then we collect stuffed animals for taking children, and the leftovers go to the Christmas fund. I used to live in the apartment buildings by Teddy Bear Park, and it was my favorite time of the year when my dad would let me go all by myself and pick out my own teddy bear. I believe I ended up in the parade one year. I don't know how, but it's such a fun experience, especially for the littles. And going into it as a member of Interact, it was amazing to see all the small businesses interact, all the kids going up to different things. Especially the library books is my favorite when kids get a stuffed animal and a book and they just get so excited about having something that they picked out for them. And it's a good opportunity for families too to be able to give that to their children as well in times when they might not be able to on their own.
We've done such a great job collecting those extra stuffed animals that it was nice to, instead of just have them sit for the next year, pass them off to Cora and Zach to have for the Christmas fund too, and then they get donated in another way.
Like Ms. Trainer talked about, bringing in small businesses. We have so many. It's so important to include as many as we can in this time. The Saratoga Party Adventure with Bluey and the charcuterie characters as well. Sorry, Carrie.
We helped the Boy Scouts. They're trying to recruit and recreate Cub Scouts, so they got to talk to interested families. The fire department came with a fire truck. The LPA was able to come and interact with students and hand out books. And Lake Placid Animal Hospital had their stuffy hospital. They interacted with kids and they got to see the people that they get to bring their pets to, but in a different light. So that was nice, because I know, at least from my experience, my children don't always love when I have to bring our pets to the vet. So it was that nice interaction, like, well, here, they're helping you with your stuffed animals too. Here are some pictures. Donna ran our stuffy table this year, the LPA, and then also Miss LeClaire and her ice cream cart. This year, we again did all of the pumpkins for the Halloween trivia that Rotary puts on. Unfortunately, we didn't get a great picture, but it really helps to add to our sponsor club of Rotary and take that off the table for them. And then it becomes a real talking piece for the people that are there, knowing that the club is able to do that for them. And students get to highlight their creativity.
So the blood drive, there's two separate ones that we've had, the Adirondack Regional, and then later, like I mentioned, the American Red Cross. I first heard about this when I was in Ms. Kyler's 10th grade health class, and this trainer came in, and we had a nurse, I believe, also come in and talk to us about what donating blood is, what you're actually doing, where it goes, and the entire process. This year, we collected 7 units of blood for this drive. The challenge tends to be the college trip, that the big one that we do is scheduled at the same time, which can be a conflict. A lot of our students that are in Interact are also the ones that are taking that step to go and look at colleges. We had a lot of members that were not there. We had one student donor, and that was me this time around. The blood drive was a big thing to me. I have had a lot of family members that have been in and out of the hospital, and I know how scary that can be. And so the blood drive for me was a big thing because I might be scared of needles, but if that's the way that I can give back, it's a way that I can give back beyond teddy bears and books. And you never know how it affects someone. And I think the beautiful thing is you never see the outcome, but you get to know that you did something big for someone else.
So this is the second year we have partnered with Roost to do all of the packaging of their s'mores supplies for the campfire and cocoa, which is held on Main Street during the week between Christmas and New Year's. And it's a large task. Students are able to sign out during the day, go over to Orta, hang out with the people in Roost, package up 12 extremely large bins of s'more stuff. Maybe interact with students that they don't always get to see. So if Sophie had a study hall at the same time a 9th grader had a study hall, they can go together and then talk up about Interact. And all of a sudden, here's this new member of Interact that we may not have reached otherwise. And it does a lot for Roost because they wouldn't be able to get it done without us.
The Red Cross blood drive is coming up soon, March 20th. And I believe the sign-up sheet is out already for adults.
The online link is out for community members, and I've thrown it out into generic Facebook land. Right now, we have 22 out of the 38 slots that are filled. If we collect that 30 units of blood, $500 will go to Interact for scholarships from the Red Cross. This is typically a more popular community drive because people can sign up and plan in advance versus the other one, which is a drop-in drive. So it just is kind of hit or miss if we get enough people. Upcoming, Raquel, who is a senior, wants to do a cultural fair as part of her capstone project and has asked to Interact to kind of help out with that. And we will help with our annual park day again, which we partner with the town of North Elba and go to the parks and kind of help weed and pick up. And we bring the fifth graders along so they can kind of experience Interact. There is a middle school Interact as well. And so we hope to gain members through that. And then as Rotary and Roost come up with other activities that are possible, we always partner with them or any other community organization that may need somebody.
I covered it pretty well.
Questions?
I think you do a great job. I didn't realize that you have so many activities that you participate in. And congratulations on being the student blood donor. That's a big thing. So, but no, I'm very impressed with all the projects that you're doing, planning.
You stole my thunder. Thank you. You do what you're doing. It's awesome. You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
You might have to work or something.
You think?
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Joe, don't go far.
No, I have no fun. Our next item is recommended action, a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing tenure recommendations. May I have a motion, please? So,
Seven, yes. Joe's gonna take care of it. Yeah.
Bye, folks.
okay, we're going to start the meeting again, and we have our first good of the cause, which allows the public to address the board. If there's anyone in attendance this evening that would like to speak, or
Yes, ma'am.
okay, thank you. If you could just state your name, that would be
My
great.
name is John Ward.
Okay. Mr. Ward, before we get started, before anyone does give public comment, I just have to read a brief statement.
Yes, ma'am.
The Board of Education encourages public participation on school-related matters at the board meetings. To allow for public participation, a period not to exceed 30 minutes has been set aside at the beginning and end of the board meetings. As a general rule, public participation will be limited to 5 minutes total per speaker. Anyone who wants to speak should state their name and sign the sheet. Comments should be general in nature and should not involve concerns regarding a specific employee of the district, as the board has a separate protocol for these matters. This is a protection for school employees to assure their due process rights in a public forum. Individuals wishing to raise a specific concern should follow the regulations outlined in policy 1400. So I invite you, Mr. Ward, if you'd like to step forward and speak, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
So I prepared something to say. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the school board. I'm here today because on January 16th, I was terminated from my position as custodian and custodian here. And since the topic is coming up in today's meeting, I thought it only equitable for me to come here and talk to y'all about why. Starting work here, I've received a full workday and some change worth of training. But the training was erratic, spartial, and overall incomplete. Since then, I had to train myself and or go to other coworkers and ask them what my duties entailed due to the lack of training and direction. I started work here in October, and by the time before Christmas break, I was being nitpicked, misled, and talked about behind my back, and all while not being given any guidance, direction, or constructive criticism. Every time we would receive a correction from our supervisor, it would be very public in front of multiple members of staff. When there was no necessity of them being there, therefore denying me any respect and privacy, even going as far as a verbal threat in front of other staff. The day prior, we had a musical and an art show. And I was instructed to clean my floors twice before everyone entered and after everyone exited. Even though I had notified her I wouldn't have enough time, I was, or even though I notified that I wouldn't have enough time, uh, I was only able to do my floors the first time, left them for the morning because I had been instructed for the entire duration of my employment. If you are unable to complete your assigned duties by the end of your shift, you can leave it for the morning and it'll be handled then. When I came in, multiple people were upset that I had left it for the morning. And the next day, I was scowled at and said that they weren't happy and next week better be better. I took this and me understanding that I was not the most liked in the department. I took this as a threat, knowing full well my job is not permanent until after a year has been completed. When I brought this up to my manager a couple of days later, he had said he would deal with it. However, what had happened was 2 days after I notified him, uh, I had received something called a written documentation that in emails between us was not confirmed that it was. In fact, that it was in fact a documentation. As it was stated in our one-on-one meeting, after directly following with saying that they could fire me at any time. I understand that I can be let go at any time for any legal reason. But I do feel as though I was fired in retaliation for notifying my for what my supervisor had said. Only reason why I believe that it was done in retaliation is because when the missing documented duties was gone through, either it was something I was not notified of, or upon seeing a slight imperfection in the flooring. I have pictures of my work that I did that I believe tell a different story, and I will email photo documentation of my work if requested. In regards to my termination, I was not given the opportunity to have a two-way conversation in regards to any of the alleged factors being levied against me, nor an opportunity prior to that for developing an employee improvement plan to cover gaps in my initial training and supervised learning opportunities. In regards to the work that I completed, they continuously added to my workload in a way that inhibited my ability to uphold LPCSD standards and requirements, thus undermining my job's stability and personal abilities. So much so that in order to not stir the viper's nest, I was not taking any of my breaks and I had notified, my manager. I had notified my manager that I was not taking my breaks. He had told me not to do that. I replied to him, I have too much of a workload not to do that. And nothing in my workload had changed, so I continued. I'm here for a couple of reasons today. I really enjoyed my job. And if there's a chance of this decision being reversed, I feel like I'm compelled to speak up here today, as well as I've noticed a pattern. As we all know, this town gossips. This has been the third time this year, to my knowledge, that this has happened. And I know it's happened before this year. And the last issue that I would like to raise to the board's concern is that company property has routinely been used and misappropriated. Due to my employment here, I've personally seen someone drive the school plow truck to their home, where it stayed for extended periods of time, and where it was also seen plowing neighbors' driveways. When I came in, this person is often not seen anywhere on premises, and it's rumored that they say that they're in the bus garage, but oftentimes they're not. And
Excuse me, Mr. Ward.
yes, ma'am.
I do have to ask, to have you stop at this point because
Okay.
you're approaching 8 minutes and.
Okay,
I've
I
tried to be
I didn't
respectful.
time myself. I didn't
I
know.
tried to be respectful and
Yeah.
let you, but.
Honestly, that was the end of it.
Okay, that's good. No,
Yeah.
I wanted to let you finish your thought, but I do have to,
Yeah.
in fairness to other people that have come forward.
And then when you guys do your secondary, I got a couple questions, but that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Information for the public, there is nothing currently in that category.
There were also no emails.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Under reports to the board, there's nothing in the financial reports this week, so Dana, you have the evening off. The student board member report, I think our student board members are either just not available this evening, which then lends us to our first actual report and our superintendent report. And Mr. Seymour, thank you.
Great. So at the end of January, we had our grade 3 through 5 music concert. And once again, this is under the directorship of Mr. Blevins. So Mr. Blevins is in his second year here in the district, and he continues to just really surprise and delight. He's a great presence for our students, and those who are accustomed to seeing a typical student band performance being very formulaic would be surprised to see how Mr. Blevins and the students have just a groove going. He calls it a modern band, but students are encouraged to play and bring in instruments of their own. At one point he directed the band and the chorus students simultaneously in a song. And of course, this is our initial 3rd through 5th grade, musicians who are just getting into it. His selection of music is just awesome. So in the piece that both the band and chorus played together, they played a Beatles song and had invited students who weren't even in the band or chorus to come and play different instruments just to beef things up. So it was excellent. And a lot of modern bands are represented in the catalog that he chooses to, a band called Wilco, which has been around for a while, pretty famous. So all in all, our music department just continues to impress, and very pleased with what our students were able to show their families in that concert. So congrats to all who are involved. And for our middle school musicians, they're gearing up for the All County Music Fest, which is a week from yesterday, on February 9th. They'll head to Osable Valley High School. So we're looking forward to having 50 of our students participate, which is outstanding. Our community schools program continues to come up with new programming for our students. So we have 2 new programs that have taken off and are very promising, I think. Our Learn to Swim program with Adirondack Health is due to start next week. We have 20 students signed up for that for 6 weeks of free swim lessons right off Old Military Roads Fitness Center. And that's geared for pre-K students and kindergarten students. So excited to see that. I think that filled up in like 2 days. So certainly phenomenal to see that. And then we're also starting a middle school fitness program. And this is for students who may not consider themselves to be traditionally quote unquote athletic. And the goal is just to kind of show them that there's lots of different ways that they can hone in their athleticism. So we're excited for both of those programs, and thanks to Adirondack Health for being a good partner for us. The last couple of weeks have been the future planning process that we do. Once again, that's when the admin team meets with each instructional department, each grade level. We look at the progress that those departments are making towards their instructional goal that they present on to their colleagues in May on our day that we call Impact Day. So it was an opportunity to hear from all our departments. And they also provide lots of guidance about how the following year could be improved by looking at our purchases, our scheduling, our instructional planning. So I'll have more to report over the coming months on kind of some of those goals and how they're firming up. It's 4 full days of meetings. So I probably have about 30 groups. So it takes a while to digest all that information, but we always get a good feedback out of that. So I'm excited for it. We just finalized our March 13th Professional Development Day. And one of the areas of feedback that we've heard throughout the year is just that the extent of trauma that we're seeing amongst our students really warrants some additional staff development. And so we're bringing in Dave Melnick. He actually came into the district probably a decade ago and just was very well regarded by the staff. So he's the director of the Trauma Collaborative in Vermont, and he has 40 years of experience. His whole background is about transforming trauma. For years, the moniker has been trauma informed, and really it's about transforming trauma and kind of giving students who have experienced that and staff just some insight into kind of accepting that trauma has occurred in their life, and some tools that can be useful for staff to support students and colleagues who may be carrying some trauma. I mean, we all carry trauma. That's the nature of the human experience. And so I think it's a timely offering for our staff. So he'll be here for a full day to work with us, and I'm excited to have that. So it's good.
He's really good.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yeah.
great stuff. So we are continuing in our future planning meetings. One of the things that came up is, you'll recall that we're in the 2nd year of our Amplify reading program at the elementary school. And the way Amplify works is there's a core skills block that's a little more than an hour for commas and punctuation and reading and all the things you'd expect from an English program. And then there's a secondary block each day that's about 40 minutes long. And that block is called the core knowledge block. And this is where students learn either content in social studies, in science, or in language arts. And so this is a departure from what we used to do, which was we would have a standalone block for science, a standalone block for social studies. Now what the science of reading has indicated is that vocabulary in social studies and science is so significant that actually having the content developed and presented in an ELA block in that setting is more impactful. So that's sort of the motif that we've had for the last year and a half while we've had this program. But there's been questions from the department leaders in the elementary school, particularly those in social studies and science, about are there gaps in the content that we're covering for our students at each grade level, because the program Amplify has these different units all over the place. In other words, typically New York State gives you a scope and sequence where in social studies, in kindergarten, you'll learn about yourself and your community, and then it'll continue to expand. And by the time you get to 5th grade, you're learning about US history, Native Americans, and things like that. So Amplify has these units scattered all over the place, and they put the units in place based on the vocabulary comprehension that students have at different grade levels. And so some concern was being borne out, like, are we providing all of the content K through 5 with our kids sufficiently? And it seemed like the perfect task for AI. And Mr. Leon, our integrative technology teacher at the elementary school, is quite proficient with the use of AI. And so I put an attachment here just for you to see at your convenience, but he went in and looked at the scope and sequence of the New York State standards and the scope and sequence of the Amplify units for students in social studies and science and ELA, and did a crosswalk at each grade level. And you can see exactly where a given unit was covered. So like a third grade teacher who traditionally covered one thing, it's not in their unit plan, but they can see, well, that's still covered in second grade, so we don't have to worry. And it also showed a few gaps that are in the program that will have to be borne out through one of the grade levels. So I thought it was a clever use of AI, and also just good to see our staff recognizing some of the challenging parts of a new curriculum and kind of using the tools at our disposal to modify that. Our elementary math curriculum is sort of in flux right now. We presently buy the Envisions mathematics program, and our licensing expires at the end of the year. So to start the year, we have several different pilots happening to try and evaluate which program is going to be the most impactful. During the executive proposal, the governor's state of the state, one of the things that she spoke about is ensuring that there's fidelity in mathematical instruction by 2027. So everything we just went through with the science of reading being kind of like the baseline for literacy education, that is now what's going to happen for mathematics. The good news is any of the programs that we're piloting are going to be aligned with best practice in mathematics. But nonetheless, it is timely for us. And so there's different grade levels piloting different programs right now. We have an Envision program. We have the Envision program. We have Eureka Math. And we have the Amplify program, which provides our literacy program. They also have a Desmos math program. And long story short, the two differences between the types of programs is Eureka, Envision, and these other programs, they tend to have a more teacher-centered modeling how a math problem is approached. The student shows that they can do it, and then the whole class as a group reflects on it afterwards. Desmos flips it completely around. And so what they do is they pose a question to students, a mathematical equation or something, and then the teacher will say, okay, you have 5 minutes to try and solve this, and won't give any guidance to the kids whatsoever. And each student has to try and use the tools that they have to figure out how to do this. And then they work their way together. So then they compare how they achieved a different answer in a group, and then they bring it all in at the end and said, okay, so it's interesting to hear the pluses and minuses that our math teachers are kind of showcasing with regards to these two programs. On the one hand, there's a lot of engagement with the students with the Desmos because it's so problem-centered focused. On the other hand, it can be a challenge for teachers who are accustomed to teaching math a certain way to just like be freeform. It's like jazz, basically. There's certainly those who are in favor of the Desmos program, and then there's others who are in favor of the modules, which New York State has provided over the years, and that the Envision Math program and Eureka Math are based on. So the pilot is continuing by spring. The math department committee will make their recommendations, and we'll have a follow-up discussion about what the recommendations are for the curriculum. But it's interesting, if nothing else. So lots of changes at the elementary school instructionally the last couple of years. I just put some information in here about what the governor indicated in the initial executive budget proposal. This is just for your reference. Some of the high points are that there's supposed to be at least a 1% floor for school aid increases, foundation aid. So certainly we know we're not a state aid driven district. It doesn't look like there's a windfall there for us. But over the last couple of years, there's been considerable discussion about trying to retract funding from schools whose populations have dwindled, safe, harmless schools, as they're referred to, of which Lake Placid and 85% of the schools in New York State are. So it's reassuring to hear the word increase instead of clawback in the initial state of the state.
See what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's hope that holds true. There's a real push for pre-K expansion. We already have the gold standard program in Lake Placid. Our students, our reimbursement rate for students is phenomenal and has been the idol of many regional districts for a long time. So it's nice to see other schools are being assured that this sort of funding will happen. But nonetheless, it's also reassuring to know that the funding that the district and our community partner of St. Agnes have relied upon appears to be stable. So that's encouraging. Biggest takeaway continues to be that commitment for school meals remains in there. So that's always reassuring. Certainly, there's some interplay between the federal government and the state government in terms of the community eligibility provision and where the money actually comes from. But nonetheless, we're happy to see that in there. I referenced the new expectations for math, which there's no clarity yet on what those are, but presumably everyone will be expected to do that in 2027. And then lots of references to various unfunded mandates still that rural districts such as ours continue to make our way through. And I didn't mean to end on a rather rough note, but our health insurance consortium, of which the district is one of several across the region participating, we're forecasting a 22% increase in our premiums. And so this is a big one, and we're certainly factoring that into our initial thinking for the budget. And I know there are larger discussions at the consortium level about plan design that Dana, who is our district rep on the consortium, will certainly represent our interests well. But this is the story of the year in terms of budget. Is going to be the profound impact of health insurance premiums. Just wanted to tuck that in there. We do have some plans in our forecast, but it's a tough hit.
No, it's really tough if it's true that just based on several high cost claimants, this is how this plays out. I mean, obviously across any kind of private insurance, you deal with that every year, but it just seems that
It's insanity.
that's just because of a few claimants. I mean,
Specialty drugs in particular, right, Dana?
Yeah.
This is 2 years in the making. I mean, we've had 2 unusually high expense years.
12%.
Yeah, we had a 12% the previous year. They really wanted actually closer to 20%. And we were like, we just couldn't budget wise, so we settled on 12. And again, from last year to this year, expenses have been, remained high. So that's why 22% is kind of the number that they're throwing out there.
goodness, yeah.
Hopefully it's not a multi-year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it primarily like retirees or?
Surgeries.
No, I mean, it's just across the board. What we saw was, towards, in COVID, we saw a big drop in people going to the doctors.
Now people are going back.
And now, right, that first year back, they saw an increase, and then the second year out of COVID, a bump. So they're really thinking that it's almost like a post-COVID trend where people did not go during that time period, things got missed. And now that they're going, it's amplified, whatever diagnosis it is. I mean, that's kind of like a running theory out
Yeah.
there.
All of a sudden, that toe pain at 3 o'clock in the morning is real important. You got to call for help.
Well, and unfortunately, with urgent care shifting its
Right.
There is, yeah.
mode,
What did it care?
visits are billed differently, and so the ER is.
Right. We've been notoriously up here, ERs have usually been a go-to because we don't have the accessibility like an urgent care. So that's, if you look at it, or us to other like urban areas that have access to urban, urgent care. Our ER visits are percent higher than other areas.
Yeah.
If you're driving. One of the top, that's not the
Right.
main.
Ready to be the bear.
It's fun.
Yes, great report on that.
Yeah.
To information to the board, there is one little item under executive content for you to peruse at your convenience. 6A minutes was under consent. Moving on to personnel consent agenda, recommended action, approve the following items which are included in the personnel consent agenda. 7E, CSEA termination, 7F, CSEA appointment, 7G, amendment of CSEA appointment, and 7H, amendment of CSEA appointment. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, please vote.
Seven yes.
Moving on back to actually personnel, 7B, teaching staff retirement, recommended action. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, accept the retirement of employee number 155, first grade teacher at the elementary school effective June 30th, 2026. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Stacy Barton, 31 years of excellent service to the district. Gonna be losing a
I know.
It's gonna be tough to.
core team member there.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Many thanks for all of her years with the district. She will be missed. Please vote. Oops, sorry.
Try it again, sorry. Is it not popping up for you guys again?
I did it a second time.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got once.
Okay, Joanna, just raise your hand. All in favor, aye.
You. Second, teaching staff retirement, recommended action upon recommendation of the superintendent, accept the retirement of employee number 46. Middle and high school ELA effective on or about October 9, 2026. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any discussion?
Angie Carlos,
Yeah.
These
Two
are
hits in a
some-
row.
Yep, big
Wow.
shoes.
Actually, I think it was my senior year, she was just starting. And then my son had her as a teacher and she really helped him through his first year of school and got him to stay at, like, they were on a program to get him to get his grades up and now he's on high honors, so she's a good lady.
Angie's awesome. Again, another employee we'll miss and big shoes to fill.
Yours not popping up. Oh, there you go. 7 yes.
Last one is a teaching assistant retirement, recommended action upon recommendation of the superintendent, accept the retirement of employee number 95, teaching assistant at the elementary school effective November 2nd, 2026. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any discussion?
Anna Gemzova, she's our math wizard at the elementary school. She's the first one on the bus with Mr. Aldo in the morning. Yeah, doing the notch run. And
It's fun.
she's just a rock. She's a rock. And I mean, we have great TAs in our district. There's a long line of folks who have been exceptional. Peggy Moore is in that, right? And like Anna is of that character as well. So she will stay a little bit with us at the start of next year, but once again, big shoes, and we're grateful for all the steps she's done in our halls.
Please vote if you haven't already.
7 yes.
Moving into our action items, it is National School Counseling Week. Our recommended action motion to acknowledge February 2nd through the 6th of 2026 as National School Counseling Week. May I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We're grateful to Ms. Brown, Ms. Gosling, and Ms. Samaker for all that they do. And they certainly are a resource for our kids and worthy of the acknowledgement.
Thank you to all of them. Please vote.
I got nothing, but.
7 yes.
Special education was under consent. Moving on to linking goals with agenda items. Who has some ideas?
All of Tim tirade,
Yes.
students first and foremost. Sorry, I had to bring back some former
I
president.
know, we love that. I use that word often. I think the whole community schools, which the swimming lessons and the activities for middle school students and the community outreach and involvement. Other ones? Anyone thinks of anything later, they would like to reach out to Karen, feel free. We are moving into our second good of the cause. Is there someone either that is present that would like to speak? And Karen will have you check online.
There's nothing online.
Okay. Mr. Ward, you would like to speak again?
Yes.
I do have to read our little short paragraph again. The Board of Education encourages public participation on school-related matters at the board meetings. To allow for public participation, a period not to exceed 30 minutes has been set aside at the beginning and end of the board meetings. As a general rule, public participation will be limited to 5 minutes total per speaker. Anyone who wants to speak should state their name and sign the sheet. Comments should be general in nature and should not involve concerns regarding a specific employee of the district, as the board has a separate protocol for these matters. This is a protection for school employees to assure their due process rights in a public forum. Individuals wishing to raise a specific concern should follow the regulations outlined in Policy 1400.
So you just got 2 seconds for me. Before you
Yeah.
start, you were dangerously close last time
Yeah.
for name dropping. and stuff
I've
like
just
that, so
got
I
2
don't-
questions
we as a
and
board just don't have-
it doesn't,
Can you give me-
include people
Can
or
you give me 2
anything.
seconds?
Yeah.
Can you give me 2 seconds?
Yes.
You were dangerously close last time of name dropping and violating this policy. That is a
Okay.
New York State ed policy that we cannot break, okay? So just be general in your comments and proceed.
So. Technology. I'd like to, formally ask, you guys haven't voted for it yet, but if you guys do vote, on the motion of my, termination, I would just like a reconsideration with what, I had said to you guys earlier. And then, I would just like a copy of today's transcript if it's not readily available to the public. That's the only 2 things.
Mr. Ward, I want to say, we actually did vote on this a few minutes ago.
Okay,
It was a vote that was unanimous with the board.
okay.
But I do thank you for coming in this evening and respect your comments and, that's it, I thank you. Moving into the adjournment phase, our next meeting date and location, it will be February 24th here at 5 p.m. Are there any old agenda topics? Any new ones?
I read through Tim's whole packet on all the building stuff, so do we go over that again in another, building and grounds meeting, or when do we go over through that stuff?
Which packet? The building
Yeah.
condition survey?
Yep.
So it's totally up to us.
Thing that made me twitch a little bit when I was reading it,
Oh, is
yeah.
that a 5-year plan?
Yeah, yeah.
5-year
Yes.
survey? Yeah.
So if you have points that you
I
want to
just,
add.
I guess the only thing I wanted to ask is, do we do anything ourselves, like a quarterly thing that just for the small things that are not a big company that's coming in to evaluate every single thing? Do we do something, a small thing?
Like to track our
Yes.
improvements?
Yep.
So Dana, in his operations report, we give updates on the things that we try and do. Do we keep a log though, Dana, of the local improvements we make that chip away?
We can look at, in terms of what we, yes, expense, because one of the things we do out of this building condition survey is just that. We say,
Gotcha.
okay, what are some of the things that we can tackle, on our own and not,
Yeah, yeah.
in a big project? Like, one of the things on it was painting the
Yep,
concession
saw it.
building. We did that. They said, replacing the shingles there, they threw out a price of like $200,000.
That's
seen
when I
them-
looked at all that stuff and I'm like.
We could probably do it
For you
for.
to do the paint.
It's all over there, that's nowhere else.
What's the big-
No, that's the first time I've seen it. And I know you guys have some looking at it all, and like,
So yes.
$72,000 to paint a building? I'll go down and do it. Like,
Yeah, we did it ourselves, so
Gotcha.
things like that, yes, we
Okay.
routinely, one of the things, and again, it wasn't on the building condition survey, but it came out of it was, when we had the water leak and we had to send kids home, one of the things we'll tackle this summer is to put in, turn-off valves throughout the building.
Gotcha.
So we don't have to shut the whole building down. So yeah, we're continually, looking at that, say,
Yep.
okay, how can we
Okay.
tackle it within our budget? And then that's also things that we will then, bring to you guys to say, can we use the repair reserve fund
Gotcha.
to do that, some of those things. But some of them are probably big in nature. where,
Yeah, yeah.
We can't tackle it, but
Yep.
I wouldn't go off,
Windows or whatever, yeah.
I wouldn't go off their pricing because.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
gotcha.
So we can put together an update of
Sure.
those pieces and then.
Okay.
Well, there's my next operations meeting. I'll go through and look at that and say, here's the things that we tackled over the last, since we've, the building condition survey was finalized, and say, here are the things that we have done last year and a half.
Gotcha. And I guess from listening to, sorry,
No, you're still on it.
listening to Mr. Ward, and I know at my place of employment, it's bad. The onboarding that we do is bad. So maybe that's something we need to work on for the next person that comes in is, like, I know you did the whole thing for me for the school board, and there was like so much information that I got from that. But I know, like I said, at my work, our onboarding is bad too, so maybe.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go, that, that's the second time we've heard an employee say that training was insufficient. And that might be just an easy thing for a disgruntled employee
Yep.
to say, but I want to hear it. I don't want to just say, no. And then the sequence of this doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because if someone is to come in and make a presentation, and then there's no chance that that presentation could have had an impact because we didn't process it, then why go through that artificial?
I mean, I have to be honest, I felt bad having to tell him, we just voted
No,
on
for
it.
sure, for sure.
It's
So
stressful.
so in other words, you're coming in juggled and handed out, it was just an appeal. It was it was perfunctory and artificial. And so I'd like us to think about that sequence. And then back to, with you, two now employees are saying, so I want to be all ears. When someone has the courage to come in and speak to us, I want to be all ears, and I want to make sure that I don't immediately say, "You got it."
But I listened to that. I said, gee, do we have a management issue? Yeah, as well as a process issue. I mean, that's kind of coming up from the operation side of the business. And I don't think anybody here is in a real position to be able to refute a recommendation that comes.
Oh, of course.
On the other hand, too, that's also what we entrust Mr. Seymour with is personnel issues and his recommendation with personnel issues. And if I know Mr. Seymour well enough in the process that was used, I'm sure that there were multiple chances given and multiple retrainings provided, and here we are. And I sympathize with the man for coming in and trying to fight for his job. I think any normal person would do that. But from, seeing the process done before my tenure on the board, I'm sure multiple chances were given and multiple retrainings were provided. Just didn't work out.
Yeah, and with our onboarding, like, I mean, they walk through with the supervisor and there's a detailed list of how to do tasks. There's literal checklists of how to do tasks correctly. And so, certainly empathize with that. It is a fairly black and white enterprise. But just to your point on, the sequence was not perfunctory if the board wished it not to be. So there's always the opportunity after a public comment like that, when we get to the personnel section, if anyone would like more information, then you could always request an executive session prior to that. We could break and then,
During the meeting.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the board president can put that motion forth. And if the board wishes an executive session to discuss personnel, then we can always do that.
Yeah.
And come out, and then if there's additional information you'd like, then we can do that.
I do want to say that I did let him go a little bit longer. I could have cut him off exactly at the 5-minute mark, but I did feel like he was coming to a conclusion, and I was monitoring how close he was to the precipice before I would have interjected and said, you know, you're pushing the limit here. But I could kind of sense that he was not using names and all of that, but I don't know. It's,
The principle is you've got a half hour, and if you had 10 people.
Correct.
yeah, no, if he was the only
He was
person
the only
here,
one,
and
yeah.
I think I needed to let him go beyond his time to be respectful. I mean, it's not an easy thing terminating an employee. I mean, it's just not easy, so.
Even though he was probationary, was he still under a CSCA thing, like whatever? So,
Yes,
so there was other ways he could have.
yes. There's-
Gotcha.
And union representation, and so there's.
In fact, he was actually considered prohibited in
Yep.
probation.
Oh, gotcha.
So it wasn't even probation.
In any event,
But I think that's
I want to go back to what you were saying. I'm talking about the process, you know, not the. I
employee
know
process.
The faith in the management of the schools. We sleep well.
Okay, no, absolutely.
All right, a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:12 PM, please. Second. All in favor? Raise your hands. Aye.
Bye.
Yeah, I looked through the